It was a bright Saturday afternoon, and Marcus, a skinny 16-year-old teen, was walking toward the entrance of the new cafe in his neighborhood. He had been saving his allowance for weeks just to treat himself to a smoothie and maybe a small pastry. It wasn't a lot, but it was something he looked forward to all week. His backpack hung low on his shoulders, his shoes slightly worn, his hair untidy from hours of skateboarding earlier that morning. As he approached the door, a woman stepped forward. She was dressed in a crisp uniform, a name tag that read Karen, Manager, pinned to her chest, and an expression that screamed authority. Her lips curled into a smirk, and her eyes scanned him like she was assessing a problem she had no intention of solving. "Excuse me, you can't come in here," she said abruptly, crossing her arms. Marcus blinked, surprised. "I just want to buy a smoothie, ma'am." Karen's eyes narrowed. "Not today. We don't serve people like you." Marcus froze. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. "People like me?" he asked, his voice trembling. "Yes," she snapped. "You don't belong here." A few customers waiting outside murmured, uncomfortable, but Karen didn't stop. She waved her hand like she was shooing a stray dog. "Go somewhere else. We don't want your kind here." Marcus turned away, feeling a mix of anger, humiliation, and shame. But he didn't run. Something inside him told him he wasn't going to let this slide. He pulled out his phone and started recording. "Excuse me, everyone," he said loudly, holding the camera up. "This manager just told me I can't enter because of how I look." Karen noticed and stormed over. "Delete that! You have no right!" But Marcus was calm. He looked around and saw the crowd beginning to grow. People were whispering, taking out their phones. Some were filming too. And then, the first twist. A man in a suit stepped forward. He wasn't just any customer. He was the owner of the cafe chain. He had been there to inspect the new branch and had witnessed the entire scene from the back. "Is there a problem here?" the owner asked, his voice sharp. Karen's face went pale. She straightened up, trying to act composed. "No, sir. This teen was causing trouble." Marcus turned the camera toward the owner and said, "I just wanted a smoothie, sir. She said I don't belong here." The owner's eyes widened in disbelief. "Don't belong here? This is unacceptable. You have humiliated this kid in front of my customers?" Meanwhile, the crowd started murmuring louder. People were whispering phrases like, "Wow, she's actually being called out," and "I'm glad someone stepped in." The tension that had been building for several minutes now felt like it could explode at any second. One young man from the crowd shouted, "She can't just treat people like this. Look at him. He hasn't done anything." Marcus, sensing the momentum, decided to speak up again. "Sir," he said to the owner, "I just wanted to buy something. I'm not asking for anything else. But she refused me just because of how I look." The owner's expression shifted from surprise to concern, then to anger. He turned to Karen. "Explain yourself." Karen's confident facade crumbled. He looked suspicious, and I didn't want any trouble." The owner shook his head, his eyes hard. "Suspicious? You humiliated a kid in front of paying customers because you thought he was suspicious? That's unacceptable. Get out of my sight." Karen's mouth opened and closed, searching for words. She realized that her authority was crumbling, and the presence of the man, the owner, left her speechless. Marcus felt a glimmer of hope, but kept recording. He knew this was only the beginning of the twists. The owner then walked to the small crowd and addressed everyone. "Everyone here," he said, "I want to make one thing clear. Discrimination, humiliation, or abuse of authority will not be tolerated in any of our branches. This is unacceptable behavior." The crowd erupted in applause. Some people were crying quietly. Marcus felt his heart pounding. He had never expected that standing up calmly would have such a huge impact. Then came the second twist. A woman from the crowd, who Marcus recognized from the community center where he volunteered, spoke up. "This is Marcus," she said, pointing at him. "He's not just any kid. He spends hours every week helping children and seniors. He's always giving back. To see him treated like this is heartbreaking." The crowd gasped. Marcus blushed. He had never shared this part of his life publicly. The owner's face softened. "Is that true?" The woman nodded. "Yes. He's an incredible kid. He deserves respect, not humiliation." Karen tried to interject, but no one was listening. Her words felt empty, hollow, and meaningless against the tide of truth building around Marcus. The next twist came faster than anyone expected. One of the older customers stepped forward. "I happen to be a journalist for the local news," she said, showing her press ID. "I've been filming this whole thing. If you don't resolve this properly, this story will go viral." Karen's face drained of color. Marcus felt a mixture of fear and excitement. This was turning into something huge. He had never imagined his quiet Saturday would lead to the entire city watching. The owner turned back to Karen. "You're fired, effective immediately. Security will escort you out." Karen's protests were ignored. She tried to argue, but the crowd's murmurs grew louder. Some people were cheering quietly, others were still filming on their phones. Marcus had never felt such a rush of vindication in his life. Once Karen was gone, the owner turned to Marcus. "I want to apologize personally. What she did to you was unacceptable. You handled yourself with maturity and grace." Marcus could barely speak. "Thank you, sir. I just wanted a smoothie," the owner smiled. "And you will have one. But more importantly, I want to offer you a chance to work with us. Not as a regular employee, but as an intern. You have a good head on your shoulders. You handled this better than most adults would." Marcus's eyes widened. This was beyond his wildest dreams. What had started as humiliation and rejection had now transformed into a life-changing opportunity. Over the next few weeks, the video went viral online. People across the city praised Marcus for standing up calmly and respectfully. Many shared similar stories of unfair treatment, showing solidarity. Karen's firing became a cautionary tale for managers everywhere, a story about how arrogance and discrimination never go unnoticed. Meanwhile, Marcus flourished in his new role at the cafe. He learned management, customer service, and even social media marketing, skills that would help him for the rest of his life. Every time he walked into that branch, he remembered the moment he had been judged unfairly and how he had turned it into a turning point. He also became a minor celebrity in his community. Local schools invited him to speak about courage, dignity, and standing up against injustice. He inspired other kids who had been humiliated, bullied, or ignored to find their voice, respectfully and calmly. Final moral: life will test you. Some people will judge you unfairly, humiliate you, and try to block your way. But courage, dignity, and patience can turn even the darkest moments into opportunities. Karma has a way of balancing the scales, but standing up for yourself with respect is the true victory. Sometimes the world will surprise you. The people you thought would judge you become witnesses to your strength, and the people who tried to humiliate you become irrelevant. Marcus's story is proof. Dignity and perseverance can turn humiliation into triumph. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below what you would have done in Marcus's place. Hit the bell so you never miss a shocking story like this.